What's up, everyone? It's your boy, Mike Muse, for another conversation on the Mike Muse Show. I am so excited to be in conversation with my next guest. I've been following her for a while, and I'm just so excited just to dive right into this conversation because I just feel like the energy is going to be good because, listen, y'all, she can sing. She is a singer, and I love some singers. And her name is Muni Long, but her real name is Priscilla Renee, and I discovered her through the album Colored. And before she walked in, I've been playing literally my favorite song of hers, which is Family Tree off that album. Ladies and gentlemen, the incredible Muni Long. What's happening?
Hey, y'all. How you doing?
Grammy Award winning.
Yes.
Let's just start there.
Amen.
Talk to me about that song, Family Tree. I request that you do it at every concert, live performance that you do. That is my jam.
Thank you. Thank you. So, yeah, I honestly feel like that will not feel like it was a whole nother life for me. And I was, that was my like country experience, going to Nashville and trying to, make a way for myself as a Black woman country singer. And it was not a fun experience for me. So I tend to sort of just kind of like, close that chapter. And I understand that like a lot of people resonate with those songs, and I was letting out a lot of emotion. And so they're jam-packed with all these feelings. But for me, I think like when I decided to make the progression to this persona that we see now, it was really important for me to just let that stuff go and start over. And I always say that like, don't be afraid to start over. Don't be afraid, because I've had maybe 4 different lives right now. Like at this time, I started out on social media, YouTube singer. I thought I was gonna be on Broadway and all this stuff when I was younger, and then closed that chapter, moved to LA, started making music, closed that chapter, started songwriting, closed that chapter, went country, closed that chapter, and now what everybody is seeing and what we are all, able to experience together is Muni Long and R&B.
You're not afraid for the art of the pivot. What gives you that constitution of not being afraid? Because that's almost debilitating for a lot of people to feel like to transition to something else. People are not able to move like that with such freedom. I talk about that often, the art of the pivot.
I just would rather not be stuck doing something that isn't serving me anymore. And if I'm like getting a frog in my throat every time I get ready to do it, it's time to change. It's time to do something else. Like there was a period.
The intuition then is strong in you.
I don't even know. It's just my body. My body just talks to me. Like when I am not feeling well, I'm like, well, who is in the room? What is happening? What is around me? Why am I so irritated? Because my natural state is calm and peace and happiness. I wake up happy, and so when something disturbs that, it is very like an alarm blaring. Yeah. It's very rare that I wake up in a bad mood.
What was it that made you, I love when you said in the country it wasn't serving you. In what area was it not serving you? This is the home, what you don't know, Muni, is that my show is a home for all Black country music artists. So I've had them all stop by my show. So I'm
Wonderful.
a big country music lover and fan.
It's amazing.
That's why it resonated with me. But I'm curious, when you said it wasn't serving you, can you lean in a little bit more about unpack that?
It is difficult to be in spaces that are resistant to you. Period. And I think that everybody is now becoming a little bit more educated about the origins of country music. I think, though, if you are in that town and experiencing it, it's the South. It's very warm and enjoyable. But until you have walked into a space and had all the forks clink and everybody just kind of stop and be like, are you lost? Do you need help, sweetie? Until you felt what that feels like, and then you try to exist loudly in that space, that resistance does something to your body. It just is too much pressure.
Is it chilling?
No, it's just like the frequency of this ain't your block. You know what I'm saying? Never violent. It didn't feel like that, but it definitely was just like, like, are you done? But I think I've had some really cute experiences where it starts out that way. But then once I start to sing and they start to understand my accolades and my accomplishments in that space, having a song like California King Bed under my belt, having a song like Something Bad, Carrie Underwood and Miranda Lambert, having, Florida Georgia Line, like they're like, oh,
She's talking about the hits that she wrote, ladies and gentlemen, in California King Bed, for those not be familiar with Rihanna.
Yeah, and so when I sing that and I watch the confusion turn into sparkles in their eyes, That is a magical thing to be able to do. But do I want to spend my life like sludging and trudging through the mud? Or do I just want to use my gifts to have a beautiful, wonderful experience?
That's exhausting, always trying to validate yourself in rooms, trying to qualify yourself.
Literally had people, tell me this is not country music, but they can't tell me why.
Yeah.
And me and Jake Owen graduate from the same high school. Wow. So I'm like, what's different?
Nothing. Just the color.
What is different? There's something different. Yeah. But can you say it? And so I just was tired of that, like, insidious elephant in the room. I'm just like, you know what? Y'all can have it. It's fine.
I know the feeling about being qualified. My background is industrial engineering and chemical research. And so when I transitioned from college to the music business, my white friends who introduced me to their families, they would say I'm in the music business, but he has a degree from University of Michigan. There's always that but, that qualifier. So I completely understand what that means to be qualified. But your writing is fantastic, I think. And I'm going to move on from country, but I'm kind of just... That's me a little bit of a chokehold.
I mean, Beyonce definitely blew some life back into that conversation.
Absolutely, she did. But for me, this is about me and you and Priscilla Renee and like all the work that you did into country and your music. And really, it's about storytelling, which is why I love country music. And I think your writing ability is absolutely fantastic. And the way you're able to tell stories and make it so conversational, I think that's the reason why it resonates so much on social media. But I'm just curious about, how did you develop the power of that pen?
I just telling the truth and making it rhyme. And, that's definitely like one of the things I love about Nashville is it's just real stories. It's real stories. And mind you, the conversation around Black country has like obviously had a resurgence recently. But there are so many Black country artists that have been doing this for a very long time. Rhiannon Giddens, Sister Rosetta Tharpe, Charlie Pride, Willie Jones, Mickey Guyton, I said Rhiannon Giddens, Raina Roberts,
Yola,
Warren Treaty,
Jimmy Allen,
so many, Jimmy Allen.
Yeah.
And
they've all been to the show, mind you.
There's a new one like Shabuzi. And so it's just like, listen, I'm so grateful to have had that experience. But I was early. I was a little too early, and then I could not carry that all on my own. So, but now I think like the movement is there. There's also Tanner Adele.
Yes, who I love.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll come back to it? I think you're a true artist. I'm curious about how you move and flow. I don't know.
Money Long is Money Long. Money Long is R&B, but we have many different chapters as we discussed.
But again, you said you're not afraid to the pivot. You're not afraid to change. Not. I think you're a true artist, and I mean that wholeheartedly. And my team knows I don't give that accolades often.
Oh, thank you so much.
In terms of what I recognize as a true artist. But for me, it really is your roots in country and the storytelling and the
I grew up on a farm. I really did.
And so I think when people had that constitution, I think it's genuine. It's not that you're trying to put on. And you and I are having this conversation. This is my first time meeting her. I can kind of see why you're able to go from Priscilla Renee all the way to Money Long, right? Like, it is you. We can have range, right?
Yeah, I think also too. I think Black people are not a monolith. We're multidimensional.
Yes. You're representation.
I love anime as well. I cook. I spin fire. I love animals. Like, I garden. I do my own nails. Like, I just have so many layers to myself, as all humans do. Yeah. And I think it's important to show as much of that as you can in this life.
But now that you didn't get discovered on TikTok, but TikTok is really, and social media is really a part of your narrative and of your journey. And the reason why I love social media in the way that I do is because it allows people to find their pockets and their tribes. Do you think with that narrative of finding your tribe, finding your pocket, that you can be more expressive? You can show all the parts and people will resonate with that.
Absolutely. I think the only limits that exist are the ones that you put on yourself. And I truly feel unlimited, and if I feel that I have something to say, as I said before, is like, I'll just say it, and if we like it, we love it, and great. If you don't, I said what I said.
I believe that we're in an era of the worker, and all the way from unions, what we saw from the UAW to SAG on down, workers are really demanding their voice and having a moment. I think about writers as such like the workhorse and the work engine of the music industry. And I'm just curious, in all of your writing, do you think that helped you lean into who you are as an artist?
Absolutely. I think the decade or so that I spent, in the trenches, writing and waking up every day and doing 15, 20-hour days and going to sleep and doing it all over again. 5 sessions a day, 2 to 3 songs in every session is the reason why I can go in the studio now and write 9 songs in one night. And, you know, just that I have sharpened my pen or my pencil over the years, even though I don't write anything down anymore. I just kind of go straight into the mic. Absolutely. You know, I will never regret the journey that I took to get where I'm at now. And I'm so strong in my conviction of just like knowing what I will say, what I won't say, how to even make a song, how to stack vocals, and how to make it sound professional. I've learned that through my experiences, so I don't regret it at all.
I think about that for my journalism career. I was writing a lot during the pandemic, like cranking out articles a week, and I got named top writer, blah, 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 blah. But I really let me hone in on what is my voice, right? And then how do I want to stand on that? Which is why I wanted to really talk to you in terms of like your penmanship, like in the writing game that you have. How did you get Made for Me? Was you driving down the street?
No, I was just in my house. I had decided that, you know, the music industry shuts down from like, I want to say after Halloween, really, so October, you know, end of October to like mid-January. And then the first big thing is like Grammys. And then it goes from there, and then, you know, cycle repeats every year. I think the last thing is kind of like Soul Train Awards, like that stuff that happens in November. But other than that, it's like ain't nothing new coming. It's Christmas. Mariah owns that.
Yeah,
you know,
that's hers.
That's her season.
That's hers.
And so I think I was just tired of waiting. I'm just like, well, who says I can't? Let me just put a studio in my crib for, you know, these months. And I started just getting tracks and listening to stuff, and I got these piano tracks from my guy that I've known for years, Jordan XL. And it was just piano, and I put it on. I'm like, I tend to just kind of sit there and listen to it. I'm like, how does this make me feel? Let me see. And there's whatever comes out. It's like stream of consciousness, divine download, God whisper. I have a lot of nicknames for it. And it just comes out, and I'm like, ooh, that was good. And sometimes I'll just be like, oh, did you hear what I just said? That was crazy. Like, I'm not even thinking about it. I'm not processing it as it's happening. I'm just going without thinking. And so that's how that song came to be. I was just channeling. It took me about 30 minutes and did like, you know, some backgrounds or whatever.
Well, if I can interrupt you for a second, this is like probably the 3rd or 4th time as interviewed you brought up some form of spirituality, some form of a gift, some form of intuition. You started with the frog in your throat, right? I'm just curious, where is that coming from? I know you meditate, right? Like,
I'm getting into it. I'm not the greatest meditator.
Not everyone has that ability to trust, because your intuition, spirit, listening to God, as you said, whatever people call it, that's a muscle you have to work to trust it.
Yes, absolutely.
So I know it's not about music, but how did that come into play with you? Because you're very resolute with that.
Well, I mean, when it happens to you,
you've been leading into that a lot in this conversation.
You know, can't even deny it. You know. I don't really know. I couldn't tell you where it, like, nobody really told me that. It was just something that happened one time, and I paid attention. Just like a small thing of like, take that coat with you when you walk out the door. And I took it, and then I needed it. Or just like, put that $50 in the glove compartment. And then one day I ran out of gas and didn't have no money. And I was like, oh, I got that $50. You know, and just continuously doing little things like that, like get up out the bed, and then, you know, something happened that I was just like, I'm glad I wasn't sitting right there. You know, I don't know. It's just like, I think certain people never lose that connection. Like, you know, they say when you are born, you're closer to that side than you are here, because you're just coming in. Yeah. And so I think some people never lose that magic. And I think they just, like, I've always been a little bit like not here, ditzy, what some people would call it. Like, my mom used to be like, girl, wake up, where are you? You know,
Jonah's shaking her head.
I've always been a little bit of a dingbat, according to like natural societal norms, socio, you know, whatever. And so I think once I tapped into the awareness of like, no, you're not a dingbat. The volume is just up higher on this side than it is over here. Like, I've spent a lot of time by myself. I'm fine being alone. I'm happy in my room reading. When I was younger, I used to read an entire Harry Potter book in one day. I actually used to get in trouble for that. Like, girl, turn them lights off and go to bed.
Yeah.
And so I've always had like this other world happening while I'm existing in this one. And I don't know. It's just something that I have like.
I'm getting it now. You have a sense of freedom.
Maybe, yes.
You have a sense of freedom about you. And just in this little time that we've been chatting, we've talked about farming.
Yeah.
Starting fires, lighting fires, right? We've talked about transition, the art of the pivot, going from countries not serving you all the way to money long, all the way to you reading Harry Potter, you enjoying your solitude and being still. You can move into any room, it seems like. That's freedom. And I think when you have that freedom, you're able to clear out that noise. Right?
Yeah, I've never been afraid of
And it's
nothing.
resonating with your fan base right here, all of us, but Jonah in particular. We were talking a lot about you before you walked in. And it's really watching as a real-time audience is to see Jonah, who is the age of somebody who's on TikTok every 5 seconds, and to see why you connect so much with your fans because it's authentic and probably a lot of fans out there are very similar.
I think people are tired of being told what to do. And like, I have this thing that one of the things that really just makes me itch is like, do not try to hold me something that you yourself do not stick to. And don't tell me I can't do something, but you're doing it. Why can you do it and I can't do it? Who's stopping me? Who said? And I really believe that like, I can do anything. Why not? And then when you tell me I can't do it, it makes me want to do it more.
When you think about it, Money, I can talk to you all day. I'm going to have to rap, but a lot of the greats are always what society deems as left of center, but they've been center the whole time.
That's fine. I don't want to be like everybody else.
And they're all the greats.
Thank you. I receive that.
I don't like bringing other artists into interviews, and I'm sitting with you, with whoever artist I'm sitting in front of, but I've interviewed very successful artists like yourselves who are still relevant and charting and who are winning Grammys this last cycle, who told me these exact same type of stories. People thought they were a little bit different, thought they were a little bit strange, right? But they followed that voice, that spirit, and here they are chart topping like yourself.
I am different. I am strange, and it's okay. I think that's what makes me amazing. And I always used my mom used to be like, you shouldn't be scared of nobody. Only reason people are scared of other people is because if they lie, that's fear. So I'm not lying to nobody. I always tell the truth. I'm not scared of nobody but my mama and Jesus. It's the only two people,
Money Long, I was a fan of you before, but I am a huge fan of you now.
Thank you.
Always have a home at the Mike Muse Show.
Well, this was pleasantly a surprise. I'm so grateful that you started off in that John. What was that you was playing? Family Tree?
Family Tree.
Yeah, it just brought me back.
Good. I can't wait to root for you all the way.
Thank
to
you.
every #1 single. And audience, please listen to Made for Me and make a TikTok out of it. Everybody's doing TikToks
Listening to Made for Me, and I got an album coming.
Oh, tell me about the album. When's it dropping?
It's coming in May, I want to say. Somewhere
Shaka didn't tell me that part.
Yeah, no, he wanted to let me, drop that gem myself.
So new album coming in May.
New album coming. I'm so excited for
Please, you got to come back. I would love to do like an unpacking of the album.
Let's do it.
Because I think you have something to say.
I said a lot on the project.
And I want to help unpack that.
Let's do it.
Would you please consider me, please?
It's a date.
Audience, you heard it before. Please go listen to my new friend, her new super fan, Money Long. Until next time, folks. Peace.